Alrighty, we are live. We are ready for action. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being in attendance for the Quick and Delish Life Meal Planning webinar and workshop. My name is Rafael Jemison. I am the owner and founder of Stampers, the Stamping Academy, where we help notaries use their stamp to make more money. And we have the wonderful Alicia Connor. Alicia Connor is a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and chef, and she's also the best-selling author of the multi-author book, My Mess is My Message. Before we begin, Alicia, how are you doing today?
Awesome. Thanks for the invitation. I'm happy to be here again. This is my second time hanging out with you and your
Yes.
posse.
Yes. I really appreciate you for being here today. Reason why I'm really excited about this presentation is because I've been taking my health goals very serious as of late. Even though as entrepreneurs, we always have a focal point to be a part of our business is always being present. But if we don't have the necessary energy, if we're not actually taking care of ourselves, we can't operate at peak performance. So I'm very excited about what you're going to be presenting to today, and very confident that the audience is going to extract a lot of value from this workshop as well. So I'm going to shut up. I'm going to let you, and I'm going to let you go from here. For everyone that's watching, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. And at the end, I believe we will do some Q&A. So let the games begin. Let's do it.
Absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, a little bit more about, so I created a meal planning program. My first career was as a chef, and I'm a dietitian. So I love creating recipes that get us in and out of the kitchen, because we have a lot of other things to do besides work. Fun, socializing, hanging out with our people, our loved ones, etc. And challenging ourselves in many ways. So my meal planning program is called Quick and Delish Life. And it's the definition of meal planning for me is the act of planning meals intentionally in advance of needing to eat. So it's that simple. And I'm having an issue with clicking forward, but here.
Do you want me to click it for you?
Yeah, you want to do that? I don't know if you can. That'd be cool. Oh, here, I figured it out. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thanks.
Is it working for you now?
Yeah. I don't know why it's working now. So, cool. So I created my meal planning program to help people start from where you all like the meals that you already know you enjoy, and then add variety over time. A lot of times when people want to get into meal planning, they like go online and search for new recipes. But the best first step is seriously pull your resources that you already have and create a system from there. And planning and time management is essential for us to do anything. Think about meal planning is, I mean, we all eat every day, every multiple times throughout the day. And so, like, say if we go on vacation, we need a plan, right? We need a plan for transportation, where we're going to stay, all the activities, and like where we're going to eat. So meal planning is the same thing. And ensuring we have variety of colors, textures, and flavors is really important. Like yesterday, I met with a client, and he was like, I don't like salads. My wife and my daughter really like salads, but I don't really like salads. But at the end of our conversation, he was like, you know what? When I have fruit and cheese and nuts in my salad, they're delicious. And so it's just figuring out how to have something in a way that works for you. So I always like to review the notion of balanced meals and snacks. So we get all the nutrition that we need paced throughout the day, like fueling. So having plant-based and animal-based proteins, and then carbohydrates with fiber and energy. So a lot of times people say like, oh, I'm not eating carbs, or like I'm eating a low carb diet or something like that. And I help people lose weight all the time, and help people keep the weight off long term. And then, so these carbohydrates with fiber and energy, they're like, it's identifying what they are. So like white flour bread is not a carb with fiber and energy. It has energy, but not as much fiber, if that makes sense. So, and then non-starchy vegetables, that's where we get to eat the rainbow of veggies. And there's lots of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties in those colors. And then making sure you have some healthy fats in there. And then to break this down for like main meal, so say like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So for plant-based and animal-based proteins, shooting for about 20 grams of protein. And like, I wouldn't go more than 30 grams of protein per meal because it can be hard on the kidneys to have more than that. So that's why we want our nutrition paced throughout the day. And then carbohydrates with fiber and energy, anywhere between 1 to 3 servings, depending on who you are, your health goals, weight loss, etc., or weight loss maintenance. And these include the beans, the lentils, the whole grains like the quinoa, the wild rice, the farro, the oats, the stick to your ribs kind of carbohydrates with enough fiber in them. And then some fruit, any kind of fruit. You know, sometimes you might hear like this fruit is bad because it has a lot of sugar or whatever. Like if you heard that like one of your favorite fruits had a lot of sugar and it was like bad, that's not helpful for your psyche. We need variety. And then starchy vegetables like sweet potato, corn, English peas, like the sweet peas that are in season now because it's like spring and like we're headed towards summer, or frozen peas, and winter squash like butternut squash. And then, or having a variety of all of these things. Like imagine like a meal like huevos rancheros, right? Like, so like 2 eggs with some black beans, some sweet potatoes, some spinach, some mushrooms, and then some salsa and avocado. That's a balanced meal with all the components. So the carbohydrates with fiber and energy there are the sweet potato and the black beans. And then the non-starchy vegetables, having anywhere between like 1 to 5 cups per main meal. And so some of you guys could have like 7 to 10 servings of non-starchy vegetables a day. And that's where you get to eat the volume, like in a salad or cooked vegetables or soups. And then having some healthy fats like avocado, or using avocado oil for cooking. And then the nuts and the nut butters like peanut butter, almond butter. Now there's like mixed nut butter. That's kind of fun because you get a variety of nutrients and flavors. And then seeds like chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, or seed butters like sunflower butter is helpful for folks who have a peanut allergy or any other nut allergy, for a nut butter to spread with apples or pear or something like that. And then olive oil or olives for healthy fats. And sometimes like the salmon or the sardines, that also includes healthy fat from the omega-3s. And so sometimes our protein might have the fat in it. So building a balanced meal, this is looking at a pie chart, just a visual representation of what a main meal could look like. So having protein there. So this could be animal or plant-based protein, or I'm a big fan of the combination of the two. And then healthy fats, it might be built in your meal already, like the olive oil that you cooked the meal in, or the salmon. And then the carbohydrates with fiber and energy, that portion is larger or smaller depending on your needs. And then those non-starchy vegetables. So you get the crunch, you get the different colors, and then you get those healthful effects from the plants. And your meals could be represented on a plate, in a bowl, or in a cup, like a cup of soup or a cup of stew, or a small portion of leftovers, or even like a hearty salad, like a black bean quinoa tabbouleh for a snack. And then also a container that you bring your meals with you, or you have a picnic with family or something like that. And then, so the topic here today is meal planning with your health goals in mind. And so the most important, like thinking about like defining your health goals. So if you want to lose weight, like what is it you want to be able to do because you lost weight? And like some people have grandkids, or some people want to have kids, or like what is it about this health goal that is important? Like your true why, like your heart-centered why. Because it makes it much easier to follow through with what you want to do when you know your why, your big why. So assessing your habits and routines. And then we're going to talk about, the next few slides will be about like your nighttime routine, your morning routine, and then your eating pattern, so that you get enough nutrition spaced out throughout the day. So defining your health goals. So I encourage you to think about a system versus a result. So a system is a set of habits and routines that are in your favor, that help support you throughout your day, your week, your month, your year. And this could be your best year yet in many different ways if you set your intention that way. So results are an endpoint. and that a result needs a system. In order to achieve anything, we need a system and a plan to get there, like a blueprint, a map. And then set yourself up for success by making a specific, totally realistic plan that's doable. Because if it's not realistic and you're like, I want to do something crazy, and you don't have a roadmap to get there, then you're just not going to feel great about it. And that's not fun either. So your nighttime routine, reflecting on what you're experiencing now, and make sure to get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Like 7 to 8 is really optimal. We need that rest and recovery from the big days that we live in our modern culture, our go, go, go. And then plan your last meal to be 1 to 3 hours before you actually go to sleep. And this helps with digestion. Some people experience acid reflux if they go to bed, lie down too soon after eating. So it's all about what works for you. And then turn your screens off like 10 to 30 minutes before going to sleep. This helps with quality of sleep. And, you may need to turn your screens off earlier. And all screens count. Like they're all screens are created the same, like whether or not it's your phone, your computer, or your TV. And identify your meals for the next day. I'm a big fan of not only meal planning, but like, what are you going to eat tomorrow, so that the more decisions that we make in advance of life, then we can flow through our day with grace. Knowing what we're going to eat is super essential. Instead of and then if we don't know where tomorrow's going to be in terms of meals, then we're more likely to fly by the seat of our pants. And you know what that results in. I don't have to tell you. And then consider assessing your own routine to make simple modifications. So your morning routine. So start hydrating first thing in the morning. And then, a lot of times people feel like their day goes well when they start with hydrating. And then eat within the first hour. This helps with blood sugar management. Everyone on the planet needs to make sure that we're managing our blood sugars. And that means pacing your nutrition throughout the day. And it helps start our metabolism. And it doesn't have to be a big meal. It doesn't have to be breakfast food. Some people don't eat breakfast because they don't like breakfast foods. Have chicken soup for breakfast. That is an awesome meal because you got your protein from the chicken and the broth, and then veggies, and then maybe you have some rice or beans in there or something like that. Keep it totally doable. Or have some leftovers for breakfast. Set your intention for the day. How do you want to feel throughout your day? And to live an intentional life is brilliant. Consider gentle movement in the morning, or some of you are intense exercisers, but do what works for you and how you want to feel throughout the day. So plan your meals if you haven't already, and then consider assessing your morning routine. So eating patterns, something to consider. I've listed main meals and then snacks and then, basically justification. So for breakfast, we're breaking the fast from sleeping. So some people are doing intermittent fasting, and that might work for some people for a period of time or some days. But really having something in the morning is helpful. And then not everybody needs a morning snack, but some people do. So just be realistic. If you exercise in the morning, you might need a morning snack. And then lunch helps support our energy needs throughout the day. And then afternoon snack usually is a good idea. Because the break or the gap between lunch and dinner is pretty long usually. It could be anywhere between lunch could be anywhere between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. And then some folks are eating at 7 or 8 o'clock. And so it could just be a hard-boiled egg and some CD crackers, Mary CD crackers or something like that. And we'll go over some meal ideas in a little bit. And then it doesn't have to be a big deal. That's my main message to you today. Life is a big deal, but eating healthy doesn't have to be. And then dinner basically provides replenishment from the day. And then an after dinner snack is based on your needs. Some people need something after dinner to help them go to sleep, like if they have insomnia, or maybe there's a strong habit there. But certainly replacing some snack foods that are not in your favor with something that's a good choice that helps you feel good. So here we go with those meal ideas that I was just sharing. So here's some quick and delish meal inspiration. So this is like a way to think about like super, super simple, but you can make any of these ideas like delicious. So think about some protein salads, like hearty salads, like egg salad or egg white salad. Like at Trader Joe's, they have like egg white salad that's super simple, like green onions and salt, pepper, and mustard or something like that. And then salmon salad. You can make your own salmon salad with like dill or fennel or whatever crunchy things you like in there in flavor. Or you could just get like some pre-cooked salmon in a can or a pouch. There's a brand of salmon that's called Safe Catch. It's a local company here in Sausalito. And so it's a good already cooked for you salmon company. They also have tuna and sardines. And then tuna salad, certainly. You can add like chickpeas to tuna salad or chicken salad to add that carb with fiber and energy. Chickpea salad, so that's like a vegan kind of salad, and you could add some hemp seeds or add anything to that. Maybe some celery and some carrots and maybe some kind of herb like basil or basil pesto or something like that. Chicken salad, I'm a big fan of like a curry chicken salad with like apples and fennel or celery. I'm not a huge mayonnaise fan. You're probably surprised to hear that. But I just didn't grow up eating mayonnaise. I'm more of a mustard person. There's two types of people. But I usually will add like avocado for moisture. But like the mayonnaise, like you could use Greek yogurt as well to like stick the protein salad together. But it really doesn't need a lot of anything to stick together. And then tofu, no egg salad. So that could be like crumbled firm tofu. It could be soft tofu with the same things you would put in egg salad. So just another idea for a protein salad. So you could serve these protein salads with any of these things on the right hand side, like a whole grain piece of bread. You can have I like the notion of a topless sandwich. So it's one slice of bread with the protein salad on top, topless sandwich. Or you could serve with a salad like veggies, or maybe some beans or some lentils, or some lentils and quinoa or beans and quinoa, or like a roasted sweet potato or some sweet potato fries or something. And then another idea could be like a Norwegian crisp bread from Trader Joe's. That's really good. And those Norwegian crisp breads are like a large cracker. It's about the same size as the slice of bread. So I like to keep those around. So Rafael is going to share these juicy resources with you if you contact him. And then, so this is the sheet with the meal inspiration that I just shared. And there's a recipe here on the front page for Thai style turkey meatballs. So this recipe has, it's just like a pound of ground turkey with like the juice of 2 limes. And you can zest the limes if you want to. Fresh ginger, fresh garlic. You could use dry ginger. You could use dry garlic. Just don't add as much because it's really concentrated when it's dried. And then, so it's just those 4 ingredients, salt and pepper. And I mix it together and then I roast them on a sheet pan in the oven. And they're super quick and delish. The next resource is Building a Balanced Meal. So it helps you, it's an activity sheet basically. Like you use the example on the sheet. The example is like turkey chili or chili. And so like the sheet asks you like, what's the protein? So the protein is turkey and then the beans. And then what's the carbohydrate with fiber and energy? That's the beans. And then what's the non-starchy vegetables? So those are like the onions, the bell pepper, or whatever veggies you like to put in your chili. Sometimes people put celery and carrots because they can kind of disappear. More veggies, the better if you didn't get that message already. I took an oath as a dietitian to, try to squeeze in veggies wherever possible. Excuse me. And then the last column there asks you like to write down what the healthy fat is. So if you cooked the meat in olive oil, that's the healthy fat. If you added avocado on top of the chili when you ate it, that's the healthy fat. So I think this is a very cool and an impactful activity that you could use with your family or friends at a potluck. So the next juicy resource is, and these are examples of what I share in my meal planning program. So this is just a super simple meal planning worksheet with 4 sections for you to use however you like. And then this is a template for a smoothie, like my recommendations for portions for a smoothie. Some people put a lot of fruit in their smoothies. And so I recommend like half of a cup of fruit in the smoothie because you might be adding like Greek yogurt or oats or whatever. So keeping an eye on portions of those carbohydrates. And then there's a homemade cereal or granola recipe that's super simple there that you could add to yogurt. These are some pictures of the food, not only that I cooked, but I also ate. So just to give you a snapshot of some recipes that I share. So on the left there, there's a picture of a tomato white bean soup with some like chicken sausage that I added like sun-dried tomato and balsamic vinegar. It's kind of like, the flavors are kind of like Italian sausage, but I use ground chicken and they were delicious. And then the next picture on the right is a roasted sweet potato. That's the Japanese sweet potato. That's super sweet and has like a pale yellow flesh with black beans. And then that sauce, that brown sauce, maybe doesn't look super palatable, but it's a mushroom soup. I like to use vegetable soups for a sauce. And then imagine if that had like salmon on it or chicken or like a poached egg. That could be a snack. It could be a meal and it's delicious. The next picture on the right is might be hard to see, but it's cottage cheese with roasted beets, avocado, and then one of those Norwegian crisp breads from Trader Joe's. And that could be like, you could have that with a salad on the side or soup or whatever. You could have it as is for breakfast or snack or whatever. And then on the right there are some seared scallops that I seared on an indoor grill pan, like an iron indoor grill pan. And then there's a lovely salad there with like lots of veggies and fennel, arugula. And there's probably some like chickpeas or something like that in there for the carb with fiber and energy. So connecting with me, if you're watching right now, please go ahead and scan that QR code in the middle of the screen. It'll take you directly to my YouTube channel, and then you could subscribe, and I would appreciate that greatly. I have a Facebook group that's public, and then I have a private Facebook group for the folks, my meal planners, the Quick and Delish meal planners. So this is my contact me page, my email and my phone number. And then my Quick and Delish Life meal planning program. The details, if you want to check out the events page on my website, my website is aliciaconnor.com. So you could search that and check it out for dates. The next meal planning session is, I have monthly meal planning sessions, and the next one is June 9th or June 10th from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific time. And I have folks attending from the United States, different time zones, and I have had a couple of people attend internationally. And then the last thought here, this is the last slide, is, thoughts to ponder. Like, what do you, from the topic that I just reviewed, which I just reviewed a lot of information in a very quick short period of time. What comes to mind is like one focus, like this month, this weekend, we have a holiday weekend coming up. What is the main thing that you want to really like nail down? Like the most reasonable next step for you to focus on, for you, your health, your life. We're all in a long-term relationship till death do us part. And we got to recommit sometimes. So there you have it.
Incredible presentation. I have a lot of questions. I'm pretty sure you answer a couple of them. I would say before my question, I would say for me, one of my focuses going into June would be obviously to get the diet part down, like switching out those foods that's not great for me, and then switching those in for foods that's going to help me, like I say, have better energy, have a better focus day to day. I would say one of my guilty pleasures sometimes could be the trail mix, but the trail mix with the M&Ms in them. Now I try to like reason with myself and say, oh, okay, it has the nuts, has the raisins, things of that nature inside the bag. But again, I'm doing myself a disservice, right? Because it still has candy in there as well, and so I'm not really getting the full benefits of incorporating that type of food into my diet. So that's definitely something I want to focus on going into the month, and then also the late night snacking. I think it's really important to have, like you mentioned, having a system in place, right? And then also too, just having a discipline and having the awareness, where you're just like, man, it's so easy for us, especially as adults, right, to say, oh, I have the ability to just go to the store or just look in my cabinet and just pull some chips out or something that I want. But at the end of the day, if we want to achieve our health goals, we need to have some discipline and be willing to deny ourselves and say, you know what? If I am having this feeling of I want to cheat, maybe I find something a healthy alternative and then drink some water and then go into the next morning feeling better about myself because I didn't succumb to my desires of eating something healthy for me. So that's definitely a focus of mine. One of the questions that I want to ask is in regards to fruits. Now, I don't know if this is a right or wrong question, but I have to ask anyway. Now, are there particular fruits that we should stay away from?
No, I think it's more about the portion of the fruit than
Mm,
the particular fruit. Because, like I said about like the what you like, so like if you buy like fruit salad or the pre-cut fruit or whatever, like I would stick to like half cup to 1 cup of fruit at a time maximum. Especially if you had like a reasonable size apple, like there's apples that we can get in those 3 pound bags that are on the smaller side, like that is a reasonable portion of fruit. um and so it's if you so I would go with like half to 1 cup max at a time. And then so like there's some fruits that are more sweet than others, and
right.
so like the more sweet fruits I would recommend a smaller portion. So
Mm,
so the mango, the grapes, and banana, they have more sugar in them than some other fruits. And then the berries and melons have less sugar in them, and so you can have a larger portion. And so like if you have mixed fruit salad, then maybe stick to like around 3/4 of a cup of that, plus or minus. So like you don't have to be like super like a hardcore measure or anything, but it's better if you think you're having like 3/4 of a cup or not that much fruit, because a lot of times we tell ourselves stories because we're not measuring. It's good to just like measure every now and again. And like a lot of times, like our cereal bowls turned into ice cream bowls, at some point. And so like your fruit bowl, like sometimes people make a breakfast and they have like eggs and this and that, and then they have a fruit bowl and then they serve themselves fruit in this extra fruit bowl. So have like a half of a cup of fruit. Like if you have toast and jam and fruit and whatever, all of those carbohydrates like add up. And the goal is not to be like anxious and stressed out about it, but it's just being reasonable with what's happening. Sometimes people have like Greek yogurt with granola, and then they have like toast with butter and jam. So that's like 3 different carbohydrates. So if you have like Greek yogurt, or any yogurt has carbohydrates in it, because a lot of dairy does have carbohydrates, and like cheese has less carbohydrates. So dairy, like milk and yogurt, have a carbohydrate in there. Like there's protein, but it's a carb. Um, and then so fruit is a carbohydrate. And then if you added some like granola or cereal kind of crunchiness, or whole grain cereal or whatever, there's a carb there. Or if you have oatmeal, that's a carb. And then you have toast as well. It's just like the carbs, you can have all of those things, just like smaller amounts. So figuring out how to make you happy with what you really want. And sometimes I encourage my clients to have like, if you want toast, like have like peanut butter toast, like for your morning snack, or have peanut butter toast like in the afternoon, so that you're getting what you want, but it's paced out in a way that works for you.
interesting. Yeah, I would have thought the melons would have had more sugar than in bananas because I've because I've seen people that that's like gym rats, and I've seen that they typically eat a lot of bananas more than they would choose the melon. So that's a great observation. I would have never guessed that, right?
Yeah,
Um,
so some fruits taste really sweet, and like if they're riper, they have
yeah,
a different composition of sweetness there. So
yeah,
there's that too. And so I don't think it's helpful to be like, oh, this one has more sugar, so I shouldn't have it, because like I think it's important to have variety. Um, and that we get different nutrients. Like
right.
berries, like a lot of people know that berries have a lot of antioxidants in them, and those are awesome. But you might be missing out on other flavors if you're only having berries.
Interesting. Okay,
And
okay.
then the bananas, a lot of people are having bananas. Like, this is totally just my idea from
Mhm.
observations, but like there must have been some sort of marketing strategy from the banana companies years ago that educated people that bananas were a good source of potassium. And so potassium is an important electrolyte in our body. And like the more you exercise, we need like more electrolytes just to replenish our hydration status and energy and everything. And so, but what's interesting is bananas are not the highest potassium like sourced food.
Mhm.
Like there's other foods that have more potassium than bananas, but they're just convenient because they come in their own wrapping.
Okay. Interesting. 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 I want to. I have another. So I have another question for you as well. Now, as far as like the meats, obviously pork is definitely something that we want to stay away from. But are there like, uh, so I know chicken could be a healthy a healthy option depending on the way you cook it, and also fish as well. Is there a particular one where you think one is more one where one should consume more than the other, or should they just engage and just just sticking to the veggies?
Well, yeah, I mean, like for animal proteins, I would go with, good sourced animal proteins, like the pasture raised,
Mhm.
organically farmed ranches, when you can. Same with the eggs, and cheese when possible, just because those animals have been given like a nice variety of nutrients that they're supposed to be eating. Like the cows, grass-fed cows are eating the grass that they're supposed to be eating. Like cows shouldn't be eating corn. um and so if you go for a good source, then that's going to be more like a better choice. And then one of the reasons why I recommend like have a smaller portion of animal protein and then some plant-based protein is, one, to manage purchasing costs, as well as having a variety of nutrients. And so you could have like 2 ounces of turkey and then have whatever, like beans or lentils or tofu or whatever for the plant-based protein, to have a variety of nutrients in there. And so like if you had chicken, like if you really like the skin of the crispy skin of the chicken, have it sometimes, you know what I mean? And certainly if you have something like fried chicken and that's something that's important to you, then like figure out frequency. Like if you're having like high calorie, high fat items like fried chicken or ice cream, like what are your priorities? And like that's a treat food kind of. And I'm not like, there's no bad or good. It's just like what works, and we all know like essentially what is not a great choice for us. But like, so like, I don't want anybody, something I hear a lot is people are like, oh, I eat a lot of chicken and fish and chicken and fish and chicken and fish. But I really think like if you like other animal proteins, have different animal proteins. Like the bison is a really good choice. Like Safeway has, and other grocery stores, depending on where you live, have like bison, grass-fed bison that's available, which is really helpful. Bison is a lean protein. And so a lot of times when people, I just met with a client yesterday, and when I said bison was a lean protein, she was like, yes, it tends to be dry. And I was like, I didn't say it was dry. I said it was lean. So like you can turn something that is lean into like a chili or a stew that's moist. And so that solves that potential risk of being dry. Um, and then like if you like lamb, like just have these things in smaller amounts less often, so it's kind of like a treat, because the animal proteins are more expensive. And so variety, like pork, it's like, what are you doing for pork? Yeah, like if we're talking about pork bacon versus turkey bacon, yeah, turkey bacon is more of a protein, where pork bacon, depending on the cut, is more of a fat than a protein. And so, like, what is your process? If you have pork bacon out at a restaurant, depending on the restaurant, it may be less, like, not as great of a quality than if you have it at home and you get the good stuff, and then you keep the package frozen, and then you have it once in a while. And so, and there is, because we were talking about bacon, or I was talking about bacon, not you, but you brought up pork. But there's this company here locally, Diesel Farms. They have like a lot of turkey products, and they make like, sliced turkey. But they have a turkey bacon, Diesel Farms turkey bacon. It does not in any respect taste like bacon. I think it should be renamed to pastrami. It should be called turkey pastrami. So if you like pastrami, like beef pastrami, I would try Diesel Farms turkey pastrami, because it's like thicker slices. If you pan sear it and heat it up, and you have some sauerkraut or whatever the stuff you normally like with a pastrami sandwich, that's going to be a leaner choice. It's turkey. And yes, it's a processed meat and it has salt in it, but sometimes these things are helpful, and it freezes well. And so that's something I have every now and again too.
Excellent. Okay. And then one very last question that I have. So what about for those people that may not have the who may not have the skills to cook in the kitchen? What would be some options for those people?
So for people that are having a hard time doing some cooking at home?
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to cook, or time management, or all of the above?
I would say, so for the people that don't know how to cook, what would be some options for them?
Yeah. So, I mean, you could get the rotisserie chicken, and, get some stuff that's already cooked for you, right? And then you could also try different meal delivery companies, like the ones that you can cook for yourself, meal kits like Sunbasket or Blue Apron or whatever. Oftentimes you can get, like, if you get the ones that are for 2 people, you could break them up and make 3, in terms of purchasing and balancing expenses, by adding some beans or some more protein, some more vegetables or whatever. There's some meal services that are just like already made for you, like Freshly or Factor Method, Methodology, depending on your budget. And each of them have like the first time new deal, and you can just freeze your account and try different ones. So I think that's kind of a cool idea, to keep it different, because a lot of times the most important thing about these meal companies, whether or not you get the actual meals that are already prepared and you just have to heat it up and eat it, or the ones that you have to prepare, is people get bored. And if we're bored, the food's going to sit in the refrigerator, and then you're going to feel bad, and then it goes to waste, and then you go eat out, and it's a cycle of not helpfulness. And so, like, variety is really important. So being intentional about how you spend your money on the food that you want to fuel and nourish yourself, because you're worth it. And sometimes we have like crazy busy week. And so, like, crazy busy week, we do not do anything new. Like, there's no shame in using like Amy's canned soups, or, you know what I mean? Like, just keep it super simple. And I actually have like a really awesome recipe that's one of my favorite things. And a client just told me that he was just like blown away. He had no expectations. He didn't realize how good it was going to be. That's what he said. And it's chicken salsa verde. It's just like a pound of chicken. You can do rotisserie chicken. You don't have to cook it yourself. It's 2 cans of black beans. You can cook the beans yourself if you want to, but 2 cans of black beans rinsed, and then a jar of Herdez salsa verde. You can get it Safeway or Whole Foods, and then a red bell pepper, and that's it. You could eat it as is, call it a day. Certainly add more vegetables. Have like a cabbage, shredded carrot, slaw on the side with like a lime juice vinaigrette, or just balsamic vinaigrette, or whatever you like, and keep it super simple. That's a 4 ingredient dish, right? Chicken, black beans, red bell pepper, and then the salsa. Super easy. You could double it, and then you have like anywhere between 4 to 12. 8 to 12 meals if you double it, and then you freeze it, and then you're set in the future because your future self will be so proud.
I just wrote that down. That sounds really good. Chicken salsa verde. That sounds really good. Yeah,
I'll send you the YouTube channel video. Yeah, if you go, it's on my channel.
Your channel? Let me go to your channel. That sounds really good. And I'm hungry too, so that sounds really good. Everything sounds good when you're hungry, right?
Awesome. So, Rafael, are you going to share my information with people, folks, so that they can like get on my email list or whatever?
Absolutely. So for everyone that wasn't able to catch the entire replay, what we're going to do is we're going to blast this out via email. We're going to attach your resources. We're going to attach everything for your YouTube channel, your website, everything that they need to get in contact with you, so we can start eating better and having better health for the year. Because as notaries, we're always on the go. We're always on the road, and I know me in particular when I'm provide mobile notary services. It's so easy to have 3 or 4 appointments in a day instead of you just having the discipline to wait till you get home to cook something and say, oh man, let me just stop at 7-Eleven and grab some chips, at least to hold me over until I get home. It's so easy to do that. So this is very important, especially like I said, for mobile notaries. We have got to have better discipline when it comes to eating, because I don't know about you, when you're driving all over the place to appointment, it can take a lot out of you, especially if you're in a place like in the Bay Area and you get stuck in traffic. So it's so easy to have your energy drained, and you just want to make sure that you're incorporating the right foods and diets into your system. So we're going to blast this out. We need to make sure everyone is well in tune with what you have going on.
Awesome. And there's no shame in using protein shakes or smoothies, bringing them with you. And like the trail mix that you mentioned, get the trail mix with just the dried fruit and the nuts. And then you can intentionally be like, oh, I want to add some dark chocolate chips to my trail mix today.
Got it. Yeah, avoid the trail mix with the M&Ms, y'all. And I'm guilty of that as well. Love the trail mix, man. That's one of my favorite snacks. I'm not gonna hold you up too much longer. Thank you, Alicia. This was a really helpful, informative webinar. Please make sure you like this video. Make sure you share this with a friend or a notary who's trying to get in better shape and trying to get their health goals in order. Thank you all, and until next time. See you, Alicia.
Awesome.